Oh yes, I've seen all the discourse about the intimacy scenes in movies. I did this.
Okay, so I research everything before we watch it, but especially this movie, obviously I heard about it. Yes, we wanted to see it. It has an amazing rating. We prepared ourselves. I didn't know when the scene was going to happen, and I also didn't understand how the scene was happening. I thought it was just several minutes straight of, but it wasn't. It was actually broken up into like it would do a flash of that, and then it would do a flash of normal life, and then it would do a flash of the scene, and then it was like very, back and forth. So it was really difficult to avoid it. But obviously, my husband and I talk about everything. If we go anywhere or we go see anything, even if it's a concert, movie, an event, we have a game plan. We talk about things like, what if you get triggered? What if I get triggered? Really, the problem isn't what if you get triggered. The problem is what if I get triggered, because I don't want my night to be ruined by being triggered by something on a screen. So essentially, what we did was when the scene came up, when things were happening, he literally closed his eyes and laid his head on my shoulder. Like, if this is my shoulder, like this is my shoulder, he like this. And then I would just like let him know whenever it was over. And it literally, I will tell you what right now, took nothing away from the story. Him not looking at the screen during did not change the storyline, did not change anything. Have a plan and talk about it before you go.
I don't want to get into it. Just I don't think it's a spicy situation. I do think that there's a temptation as you get older to see something new and then immediately say people these days, when really what it is just like a couple of insane people. But yes, people in their 30s watching movies and then being weirded out by sex scenes to the point that it takes them so far out of the film. Couldn't be me. Let's just put it that way. No, it doesn't mean I'm horny. It just means like I'm an adult. If I watch a movie, someone is having intercourse or getting their limbs cut off with a chainsaw. Like, it's fiction. It's not real life. What about when your daughter gets older and she wants to see R-rated movies? When she gets older, she can watch R-rated movies because she'll be an adult. Or listen, I know R means you have to be like to go see it by yourself in a movie theater. You have to be over the age of 18 or something like that. If you're watching it at home with your parents, you got to look at it on a movie by movie basis. But like definitely 12, 13, 14 is like I think when you should start watching R-rated movies, or at least being allowed to start watching R-rated movies. Like I don't think you should be one of those people letting your 6-year-old kid watch RoboCop or something like that. That could scar them for life. Or at least for like a couple nights. But I also don't think you can be one of those. Well, I don't think you should be one of those people who's like, I'm not gonna let my kid watch PG-13 movies until they're 13, because then your kid ends up being like kind of lame. They end up getting scared by things that are not actually scary. I look at the sex scene discourse almost in the same way that I look at like horror movie discourse. And I used to have this opinion when I was younger, when I was like more scared of cinema. Oh no, Hillbilly 88236 has been executed already. What is the number one thing that people say annoys them about horror movies? It's jump scares. If you don't like jump scares, I think that's totally fine. But I do find it, dare I use the forbidden text, I do find it a little cringe. I'm not a violent man. I'll grapple you. Get grappled with. I'll make it snappy, I promise. Hang on, I'm... Run, brother. Adam Driver's here too. Grapple him. Oh, I've been executed. Health low. I would say that's an understatement. Honestly, I thought we were taking him one-on-one. We'll take an extra game and we'll join a new one there. We didn't really get off the ground on that one, and you know what? That's okay. But I think people... They conflate not liking something with thinking that like there's no artistic merit for it, you know? That just because you don't like jump scares because it makes you feel startled, and then you feel like the movie has defeated you because you for some reason went into a horror movie with a chip on your shoulder, which is like, this one's not going to scare me. That doesn't mean that a jump scare has no place in the medium, you know, in general. I feel the same thing about like sex scenes. Like I do see people now saying things like, it's not that I dislike sex scenes, it's just like I dislike them when they don't add anything to the plot. And I'm like, when did society just become like so much of like everybody's a plot cell now? Like there's no room for vibes for these people. There's no room for tone for these people. It's always just like everything's got to be like a frog and toad story. You know what? Like page 1, frog and toad were enjoying some tea in their house. Page 2, frog and toad put down their teacups. Page 3, frog and toad left their house on bicycles to go to the river. Page 4, frog and toad got off of their bicycles. Because if you don't put that there, the people are going to be like, wait, in the last scene they were on bicycles, and in this scene they're walking? What happened to the bicycles, right? I don't know, man. Sex scenes are just kind of cringe. They're not, though. It's just, I don't like the idea that movies have to be like representative of reality. Like I think it's almost too easy to just say like people in real life just have sex. Because I don't think movies are necessarily meant to just be like a reflection of what goes on in the real world. But at the same time, like not everything in a movie has to make it into the Wikipedia synopsis. Like some things are just there to enhance the atmosphere, right? I also, the one that bugs me more, if you like sex scenes, if you don't like sex scenes, that's fine. The one that bugs me more is the new discourse where people are saying they're watching movies at like 1.75x speed, or they're skipping scenes that are boring to them when they're watching a movie for the first time. That's kind of what's driving me crazy, because now I'm realizing how these people with like 700 movies watched this year on Letterboxd got to that feat. They turn on the movie anytime, Captain America's not on the screen. They're just 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. That's what I did with Oppenheimer. I mean, you and I just want different things out of media, and that's fine. My non-generous take is that what you want out of media is to be part of the discourse. You want to have been able to say that you've seen Oppenheimer so you can contribute to the discussion surrounding it. Whereas for me, most of the time, it depends on the movie. But depending on the movie that I watch, it's like, I'm looking to be entertained or be moved or something like that, or to learn something. My friend watches all media at 2x speed. I mean, I'm not an idiot. If you're watching my content at 2x speed, I think that's totally fine. Like, my content is not art. But if you're watching, like, narrative-driven movies at 2x speed, I'm not really going to tell you how to live your life, but it seems kind of insane to me that to interface with media that way. Like, if you're not enjoying it, you just don't have to watch it. You don't have to, like, get it over with twice as fast or in half the amount of time. I watch the sex scenes in 2x speed. Well, that's just going to give you unrealistic expectations. Like, if you've never done it, but you've been watching sex scenes at 2x, like, I just feel bad for your partner the first time you get on the horse. Because it's going to be like quite a roller coaster. Let's just put it that way. Dirty talking like Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks? Brother, it's their first time. Come on, they're not going to be dirty talking. They'll probably be too self-conscious to even moan, okay?
Are you reeling in the years? Sucking away the time? Are you changing your gears? Have you had enough of diddle 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 diddle. You guys like Steely Dan?